So, again, I don't know when this is going to get posted. Um, yeah. So, I listened to Chrissy's video on Cardi B and her divorce from Offset. And again, reinforces why I don't go and listen to her videos, because I get triggered. There was a time, when we were in contact with one another, where if she was going to make a video or she was going to put out content, you know, we would talk about it, or she would ask my opinion or whatever, and I would give her feedback, and either certain things would be added or certain things would be removed, right? And the same thing would go for videos that I would be about to do, and I would bitch and say, oh, black women are doing this and they're doing that, or about a particular situation. And then she would give her 2 cents, and I would either take things out or put things, in, based on her feedback, right? But we don't talk anymore. We don't deal with each other anymore, right? And so, I go and I listen to her videos, and it's like, the gaping holes, like just gaping chasm of holes in the arguments that she presents now. Like, first off, Cardi B and Offset, right? You don't see me making a video about Offset and say anything about Offset, right? Or say anything about Nicki Minaj and the relationship that she has with her pedophile, or excuse me, not pedophile, sexual assault, charged with rape and all the other stuff, husband. You don't see me doing that, right? And women will say that, like, oh, you're defending these. No, I'm not defending these men. I'm checking the women about them complaining about men that are low quality, as Chrissy said in her video, or not quality, right? The difference between, high value men and quality men, right? These men are not quality. And so-called ELs have been saying this forever. These women, they go out and they get with these men, because they think that they're better, they're fly, they're this, they're that, they're swagnificent, all that stuff, right? But again, they're not quality. Dude almost hit my vehicle, and I just moved, and now I'm freaking, like, literally in the sun. So I gotta put the air on. Anyway, so you'll just have to deal with let me see if I can turn it down. Maybe that's good enough. That's as best as I can do. But what was I saying? I was talking about, these men not being quality. And black women try to do this all the time. They go out here and they get with low quality men, right? And then they try to do this smear campaign and apply it to, a group of men, that they've already distinguished, are not the same group of men, right? Like all the reasons why they're not interested in ELs, and they're corny and they're lame and all that other stuff. The reason why they're dating, these other guys is because, not just because they have money, but because, they're popular, they're in the spotlight, all that stuff, right? With the exception of, Nicki Minaj. I don't know what the hell she's doing. She got, I'm gonna use Chrissy's term, low value and low quality, right? But she's on it's all about happiness, women letting their emotions control them and whatnot. But here's the thing. This is what really frustrates me, right? Chrissy was the main person that said women need to stay in their lane. She was the main person that said women need to stay in their lane. And yet, when talking about Offset and Cardi B's marriage, Offset is low quality, but Cardi B is not. Like, nowhere in the video did I hear anything about Cardi B, staying in her lane. When I got to the part where she was like, Cardi B should not have dated Offset, used him as a springboard, and then she could have went out here and got a higher value man. I'm like, with songs like Wet Ass Pussy? This is the same exact problem that, what's her face has. This is the same problem that, I'm about to hit. I swear. What is up with people? I done moved all the way away from people, and it's like, oh, are you alone? Oh, can I park my vehicle right next to yours? No, you can't park your vehicle right next. I moved over here to be away from people, and you're coming over here all in my damn windows and shit. You know, like, damn, like, I mean, granted, they don't know I'm making a video, but they can sit there and be like, okay, he's on the phone. I mean, damn. Anyway, irritating. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, people staying in their lane. Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, same situation. Like I said a long time ago, I'm a motherfucking monster, right? That's what Nicki Minaj was on. All the type of music that these black women and Cardi B being, this Latina, which is like, I don't even know why this is even spoken about, like this is even a reflection on black women. I get the whole culturally identifying and everything, but it's kind of like, you got to pick your battles. She's not black. This ain't a black woman problem. That's how it should be seen. But because Offset is a black man, yes, we're going to reach and leverage however we can leverage and reach in order to try to make a contextual argument about, black men are such and such and low quality and this and high value doesn't mean what brothers are saying it means and da-da-da-da-da. And we're going to reach and we're going to try to formulate these sort of arguments to make black men look bad. We're scrambling the jets because we don't like what Kevin Samuels is saying, because Kevin Samuels has these women calling in the show making black women look bad, when in reality, black women are making themselves look bad with the way that they call in Kevin Samuels' show. But I have to address this because I'm like, Queen, freaking stay in your lane, right? Know where you are. But yet Cardi B, she could go out there and get a high value. See, this highlights the fact that you got a lot of women out here that don't know what high value men want. What high value man, what man making more money than Cardi B would want to be with Cardi B? An ex-stripper who is known for freaking drugging men and taking their money and has admitted to such. I mean, just completely ignoring the aspect of class and respectability. I mean, just completely ignoring that. People sit there, they look at women like Eve, and notice Eve. Eve went off and got with her white man. She don't do none of the ratchet shit she used to do. She don't do none of it. Yet Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, they're entertainers. They make their money off of selling ratchetness. So they have to continue to sell ratchetness. So while you're her husband, she's still going to be up there talking about wet ass pussy. You see the problem with that? Again, this isn't an attack on Chrissy. This is an attack on what the fuck she's saying. I'm like, what you're saying is bullshit. This is bullshit. You're not dispelling anything. Again, scrambling the jets. You're not dispelling anything. It's like, oh, we can see that Offset is low quality. We can see that Nicki Minaj's husband is low quality. You know what I'm saying? We can see that Tory Lanez is low quality, but you can't see that any of the women that these men are dealing with are low quality. Cardi B, low quality. Nicki Minaj, low quality. Megan Thee Stallion, low quality. You just can't see that? All these women are wifey material because they're making good money. Talk about trying to compete with men directly. Talk about trying to compete with men directly. I mean, bottom line, these women are right where they would be if they didn't have millions of dollars. That's who they deal with. That's who they're most comfortable with. Okay, that's who they share all their feelings and intimate ideas and all that other stuff, right? That's the world that they come from, right? We already talked about this with the ELs wanting these super badass women that you see in rap videos and everything. And again, those aren't the women that are in their lane. And that was properly identified. Yeah, those women may look good, but those are not the women for you. Right? And the same thing goes for, these women that sell ratchetness and make millions of dollars off of ratchetness. Yeah, you may see a man that's making more money than you and think, well, why doesn't she date the guy who owns some NBA team or something like that? The guy that owns the NBA team don't want you. I mean, this is the delusionalness of it all. I mean, this is akin to the women that jump up and they sit there and they talk about how, I'm a black woman and I'm going to swirl it up and go, and black women need to go out here and go get white men. White men are actively maintaining their white supremacist patriarchy. Okay? You cannot maintain white supremacy by going out there and getting with and procreating with other races of women. Right? The crazy thing is all the women want to sit there and they want to use Eve and her husband and all that. But her husband and Eve, I'm pretty sure they don't have any children. Ain't no biracial legacies being passed on. Ain't no chance and no resources. When Eve dies, that's the end of it. Thank you for your service. You were a beautiful partner for my life. You know what I mean? And that's it. I'm pretty sure he has kids, doesn't he? I don't know if he does or doesn't. I haven't taken the time to sit there and look, but I'm saying I ain't seen no pictures over the last almost a decade of Eve with any baby pictures, none of that stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm saying in the long run, like who's really winning on some shit like that? That's why the whole, we're getting with white men and all, fucking nonsense. Again, not thinking it's all about black women's individual happiness and not understanding how tribalism, group economics, legacies, right, and white supremacy or the supremacy of any other group actually freaking works. Just totally not understanding that. I'm like, white men that are multi-millionaires and focused on power and everything, they looking at sisters no more than beyond a good fuck. Most of the time, which is why you don't see them running around scooping up all these black female entertainers and celebrities who got money themselves. Aside, being the fact that one, they're maintaining white supremacy, and two, they don't care for the damn culture and all that ratchet shit that these women are trying to sell or are selling. Wet ass pussy, like freaking Cardi B gonna be out there with some corporate executive or some shit like that, and she up there talking about wet ass pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like even when white men are involved in dirt, you know what I mean? They go out there and they're making their money off of selling, death and mayhem and heathenism and all that other stuff outside of their community. Just because they're selling it, all these vices and shit to black people and other minority people, right? And even the white kids that go off and listen to it because they're the biggest consumers of hip hop. They don't bring that shit home. Are you fucking kidding me? Nicki Minaj, she could have went out there and she could have dated up and she could have done, really? Who's she gonna date? Who's she gonna date, Chrissy? Who's she gonna date? Who's she gonna go out here and be with? Give me somebody. Give me one person that she could have went out there and dated and would have taken her seriously, and not just went out there and dated and would have been fucking her for a couple of months. Actually wifed it up. Who else is out there that would have sat there and been like, Cardi B, that ex-stripper, who was out there, freaking drugging men and giving them fucking roofies and shit and taking their money. Yeah, man, that's wifey material if I've ever heard it. Come on, Chrissy. Come on. Again, this is what I'm talking about with the scrambling the jets, the fucking reaching. I mean, just the ridiculous, insane levels of reaching. Just reaching. Oh, man. It's like, I don't know what anybody doesn't see about this. But I don't even have anything else much more to say about it. Again, Queen, stay in there. They need to stay in their lane. The queen of staying in their lane is advocating for Cardi B to go out here and date up like nobody recognizes or has seen over the years, that Cardi B is not wifey material. Like I like that's really blowing my mind right now. I'm like, so you really don't know what a quality woman is, or you really don't know what high value men actually want. You really think that freaking wet ass pussy is on the menu? You really think that? Or even with Megan Thee Stallion and all the shit that she was talking in that video where she talked about why and how she got arrested with her ex-boyfriend who was 6'9", and the cops came and locked her ass up. And just the way that she was coming off and the way that she was talking, that does not, you want to talk about what associates black women with poverty and associates them with low quality and all that other stuff. It's maintaining that type of behavior even when the women claim that that they're trying to move up, which I don't even think Cardi B, who's not black, or Megan Thee Stallion, who is black, or Nicki Minaj were particularly trying to move up. They're comfortable where they are at. And that comes with its own set of drawbacks. If you want to be immersed in the culture, if you want to keep it real, if you want to keep it all blackety black and all that, unfortunately, this is what comes with the culture. And this dives into the video that I did talking about what do you want to call it? Cultural suicide. Because that's what this is. It's cultural suicide when you see black people who recognize that the culture is, this is so pervasive in black culture that they want to get away from it. And then that's when you get into all the, the swirling and interracial dating that's labeled as self-hatred and all that other stuff. That's when you get into all that. Because it's like, how do you get away from this? Right? Where is this plot of land of black people that are all congregating, like those people in Georgia, that all have the proper cultural orientation, that white supremacy has done everything in its power to destroy, only to complain about the outcome. Only to complain about, the Ray Rays and Pookies and the killers and the murders and everything, and then use that against black people like, oh, well, they're just doing it to themselves. That video was just frustrating to listen to. Like Cardi B is now all of a sudden a quality woman. Woman sitting up there who even looks at black women and calls them roaches and shit. And I'm just like, wow. So like, again, all that stuff about like, the Bianca Prince or whatever her fucking name is, and all these light skinned bitches coming through and freaking or biracial women coming through, these racially ambiguous women coming through and being, pro black male and not, pro black community, gets ignored, for the purposes, even if it's mentioned, it still gets ignored for the purposes of using a woman like Cardi B to sit there and try to dismantle the talking points that black men collectively are making. You know what I'm saying? And granted, we got our own stupid shit on the side. I've already addressed, the guys that Kevin Samuels asked to call in the show with the detractors, and all these guys talking about still it's not about the money, like fucking decades later, and they're still talking about it's not about the money. I'm like, really? Moving up and getting into this new class that everybody says is the ideal, which, truth be told, if you really look at it, really don't have much to do with black people. It don't have nothing to do with black people. And there's a lot of fuckery that people are trying to push, as opposed to, people like, people who are there linking up with each other and people elevating that as the ideal. Like Kerry Washington and her Nigerian NFL player. You know what I mean? I hear less about that and more about what's going on with Cardi B and Offset, more about what's going on in Nicki Minaj and her man, and Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion, and Ciara and Russell Wilson, a single mom, who got with Future, and what's going on with that, than I hear about two black celebrities that ain't got no stains on them, no bullshit, no fuckery, no nothing, and people saying this is the ideal that we want to advocate for. Everything seems to always be around some sort of corrective promotion or correction or and whatnot. And I'm like, how about people don't get involved in the fuckery and the bullshit to begin with? How about people get their minds right as soon as possible, which again, that's supposed to be the purpose of all these videos, right? So that people recognize that, as opposed to thinking that they can go from hot to cold. You can just transition from hot to cold and cold to hot. And I'm like, no. Because the people who are already freaking, hot, or doing the damn thing, they don't want your bullshit. They don't want your baggage. They don't want your reputation. They don't want none of the shit that comes with it. They don't want any of the stuff that you're trying to bring with you and say, oh, well, this is keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? Like, would you like? I mean, it's just nuts. I mean, you got Biden addressing Cardi B. Like, this is, I mean, they're telling you what they think the black community represents, and she's not even black. And yet, black people out here, co-signing this shit because they culturally identify with Cardi B, which highlights where everybody's head's at. Why is Cardi B fucking relevant? I'm saying if Offset is just as ratchet as Cardi B and they're a match made in ratchet heaven, okay, why not invite Offset to the White House and have a discussion with him, or invite maybe not the White House because Biden's not in the White House, but you get my point. Why not invite Snoop Dogg to the DNC convention and some shit like that? You know what I mean? As offensive as that would be, I'm saying why not get the ratchet black males to fucking do that shit? But instead, no, we're gonna one drop rule it to death, and we're gonna get this fucking Dominican woman, and we're gonna have her, try to get the black vote because, wet ass pussy is the hottest song right now. Really? I mean, y'all like not even recognize like when you should be offended. But yet everybody's claiming that they have these freaking ideals of where they want to go, but they're always trying to, bring some other shit into the room that does not fit into that situation or circumstance. And then once that's pointed out, oh, well, see, the problem is you're Eurocentric in your thinking and blah, 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 blah. I highly doubt with all the millions of dollars that Cardi B got, she can't tell the difference between the freaking the freaking dinner fork and the salad fork. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you see the same thing with NBA players. These guys, they make millions of dollars and then they go broke. Why do they go broke? Because they don't know anything about managing the money. What are they going to do? Learn how to manage money from their single mother who was on welfare that raised them? You know what I'm saying? That's why they go out there. They're deprived. They go out there and they spend the money on all type of frivolous shit because they've never had. They've been deprived. You know what I'm saying? So just because you get somebody and they get a whole bunch of money and they come from the streets and they come from ratchetness does not mean that they particularly know what to do or what their orientation is supposed to be or what choices they should be making. No, they're too busy trying to be ghetto fabulous. They're trying to take the streets and bring it into the Hamptons. And that's one of the main reasons why they can't date anybody in the Hamptons, because the people in the Hamptons don't want their asses there. There's a lot of white men that made a whole bunch of money off of Cardi B's wet ass pussy. From the producers and the directors and this, that, and the person and the audio sound manipulator guy and all other type of stuff and the record labels. They made all type of money off of fucking Cardi B. And they sold all that shit to the masses. But guess what? I bet you when they go and you look at any of these guys' wives, if they are married, and you look at the women that they date, these bitches is fucking Susie Homemaker and shit. The Beckiest of Beckys. And yet, we got people, got the audacity to sit there and say Cardi B could have went out there and dated up with that big ass tattoo on the side of her leg. I mean, just no. Wrong orientation. No. God, man, it's like this shit should be just obvious, but it's not obvious. And that's why I have to make this video to correct this bullshit. Cardi B could not have gone out there and not got with Offset and went out there and dated up. Could she at the very least maybe got somebody who wasn't going to cheat on her? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, possibly. I mean, I'm saying, isn't like she mentioned Nelly, she mentioned Ludacris. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, they're just like, even within the street culture, there's like levels to this shit. You know what I'm saying? There's motherfuckers out there that just this shit is a little bit too ratchet. And when you look at these other rap, they got in, they made their money, they got out the game. We ain't heard from them since. They raising their families. You know what I'm saying? Doing that shit indefinitely is not conducive to what people say that they want. You know what I'm saying? You can't be up there, you rapping about pussy and all this other shit. I'm talking about the dudes now. You know what I mean? And that's your husband or even the wife is doing it too. And then you're going to teach your kids about what? What morals are you going to teach your daughters when you up there rapping about skeeting in bitches' faces and all that shit? How is that conducive to having this beautiful nuclear family? It's like everybody, like people don't recognize that people live this shit. It's not just matter of a means to an end like it is with white folks, where they come in, they see the ratchet shit that's being sold, like the biggest sellers in the world are, what is it, sex, wine, and song, right? Or sex, spirits, and song, right? So the 3 S's. Sex, spirit, and songs. Okay? White men go out there, they do that shit, they don't bring that shit home. Black people, on the other hand, they get their hands dirty in the shit. Dirty. And there's a lot of bullshit that comes with these, lifestyles that people are trying, or these fronts that people are trying to portray and whatnot. It's not an environment to raise a family. It's not conducive to raising a family. It's the same thing as like, I have had people that that live in Miami. And they're like, look, man, Miami's a great place to be. It's like New York. It's a great place to be in order to work, in order to party and shit like that. It is not a place to raise a family. Well, first off, there's way too much temptation because the bitches down there is just fucking insanely bad. Okay. But on top of that, it's just constant. It's like nightlife and all this other stuff. Like, it's like, trying to keep your partner faithful in an environment like that. It with just so much scandalous shit going on. You got the fucking Bang Brothers riding around in their bus and shit. Like, nah, like that's not a place you want to raise, kids at, and I'm not saying that people don't, but I'm just saying, if you really want to get down, how other groups of people get down, they get their families away from all that bullshit. But you see so many black artists in the entertainment industry, they go up there. Snoop Dogg's the primary example. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm like, nigga, you got dark-skinned black daughters and you up there either saying disparaging thing about dark-skinned women, or you up there, talking about pussy and shit like that. It's the same bullshit that T.I. tried to do. I'm like, nigga, have you not heard your own songs? You know what I mean? And then he's sitting there talking about, nah, my little girl, he out there cock blocking and everything else and checking her, her hymen and to see if it's still intact. Like, ridiculous. I'm like, you got too close to the reactor. You know what I'm saying? You radioactive, you damn near glow in the dark, and you bringing that shit home, motherfucker. Like, what don't you get about that shit? So when I see Cardi B and Offset, and I'm looking at them, I'm like, it's 2 ratchet ass people. What do you expect? Like, what fairy tale are y'all trying to get out of Cardi B and freaking Offset? Like, what y'all think, they were gonna get together and then you go live happily ever after? Hell, y'all was screaming colorism when Offset got with Cardi B. She was a ratchet ass bitch that, if she was a dark skinned woman and she was up there and doing all this ratchet stuff, she wouldn't get no play. She wouldn't get no attention. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to use her as the archetype and talk about how she could date up. Now you're blatantly contradicting yourself and saying that she could go out there and do what you said that a dark-skinned woman, couldn't do and is a problem. And now you're encouraging her to go out there and do it. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, really? All for the 15 seconds of fame to slam black men and say, they're trash because Offset is them, and they're all one and the same, and we get off at throwing black men underneath the bus. And I'm like, see, that's why I say certain women are too far gone. And it's just that simple. They're too far gone. I mean, and the thing is, it's like they can come with all the, it's not fair, and it's not balanced, and this, that, and third, and then they can come with all that stuff to continue to try to justify being intellectually dishonest and all that shit that they do. And I'm saying all it does is make them look bad, because all it does is make it look like you're reaching and you're not making sense. What's being said does not make sense. It doesn't compute. How is Cardi B any less ratchet than Offset? This is two ratchet people getting with ratchet people. So if you're of the hypergamous camp, or the date up camp, or the, you don't settle for less camp, this shouldn't even be something that should be discussed. It shouldn't even be discussed. Period. Again, I wasn't going to make a video about this till I saw Chrissy's video. And I'm like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? It shouldn't even be discussed. I'm like, Offset, anything that goes down with Offset, anything that goes down with, I'm telling you, if you catch a homicide and Nicki Minaj gets killed because, she, says something to her man and he's a felon and everything, he puts hands on her, don't start making videos. Don't come out there and say, hey, because I'm saying even Chrissy made a video saying that Nicki Minaj was stupid for getting. So I better not hear that video. I better not hear a video sitting there talking about how, and this is what black men do, and y'all don't value the black woman, and da da da. I better not hear none of that fucking blanket statement bullshit coming out of sisters' mouths when Nicki Minaj gets burned from being in her relationship that everybody warned her about. Everybody was like, Nicki, what the hell are you doing? Okay? I better not. But it's like, these women, I'm telling you, they run into burning buildings and then scream fire and demand somebody rescue them and some shit like that. I mean, this whole situation with Cardi B and Offset was predictable as fuck. Nobody can say it wasn't predictable. What basis did they have to have a healthy damn marriage with the type of shit that both of them talk about in their damn songs? I mean, get real. Get real. Like I said, the women that are able to transition, this is why all that switching up shit is bullshit. The women who are able to transition, you don't hear them. They don't make no noise. They do like Eve, and you never see them again, or you rarely, see them again. I saw some article that was trying to like low key throw shade at Eve, where they were talking about Eve came out and showed her tattoos. I'm like, Eve's been had them tattoos. But the article was like trying to act like it was something new, and it was just some basic picture of her taking a selfie, and she had her paw print tattoo that was slightly exposed outside of her her blouse. And the white media outlet, I was like, look at this shade that's being thrown. This low key, because if you think that white women care for the fact that Eve is with her man, her multi-million-dollar man, if you think that they care for that shit, they don't. They don't, which is why this article was, throwing, some shade at, some shade at Eve. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, ain't this a damn bitch? Like talking about her fucking tattoo, like the shit is fucking relevant. But that's all I gotta say, man. I mean, it's like people don't get it. I'm like, what is there not to get? How Cardi B could date up. That's like saying that Black China could go out here and she can go and date up and get, you know, some quality dude. You see that she's not with Rob Kardashian. You know what I'm saying? Again, that whole picture perfect, stay together forever and ever and all that other stuff. That's something that has to be worked on. Like, you got to work on wanting to have a loving and nuclear family. And then you really got to think about this. Does Cardi B actually deserve that? Does Cardi B actually deserve to get this picture perfect, you know, marriage and, you know, till death do us part, you know, ride into the sunset, you know, kids going to private school and all that other stuff, right? Does Cardi B really deserve that when she's, you know, with the music that she promotes that, you know, essentially specifically targets the black community? Think about that. And the very much could be said, the same thing could be said about these male rappers, you know, which everybody calls out, you know, when it came to T.I. and, you know, him up there doing, that show that P. Diddy controls, the something Revolt, the Revolt TV or whatever. And he went up there with Candace Owens, and people were quick to call that out. They were like, whoa, nigga, you up here talking about what the black community need to do and how we need to be pro-blackity black, and we need to make moves and this, that, and the third. And you know, went over there and you know, with your songs and your lyrics and shit like that, all the shit that you contributed to, you know, and tip drill and all that other stuff. But now you want to sit there and you want to talk about it. Oh, we're quick to identify that when it comes to the male rap artist. But when it comes to the female rap artist, we're not quick to identify that. So Cardi B gets to go and live in the suburbs in her McMansion and be out there balling out of control and sending her kid to private school and all this other shit, and, you know, living this suburban, you know, cushy lifestyle and everything, while she goes out there and promotes hedonism, while she goes out there and promotes, you know, promiscuity. I mean, how are you going to be somebody who goes up and promotes promiscuity, but then you mad that your marriage, your partner is being promiscuous? I mean, think about that shit. You up there promoting promiscuity, but you mad because your partner is not faithful. I mean, bitch, if you don't get the fuck out my face with that bullshit. You know what I mean? Cardi B needs to go and have many seats. Many seats. You know. But it's mind blowing. Anyway, that's all I got to say. That's my video. SWP out.